Welcome, everyone. I think we will go ahead and begin our program. Continue to enjoy the delicious food. And my name is Jake Schrum. I'm the Interim Vice President for Advancement here at Agnes Scott. My two claims to fame are that I am a father of a Scottie, class of 2011, and I was on the board here for 6 years. And I came to see our wonderful president, Lee Zach, about 3 years ago and said, I've just moved to town. If I can ever be helpful, please call me. She was pleasant, but I had the feeling I would never get a call. But then she called the 1st of November, and I've been here since November 10th, and I'm loving every minute of it. And one of the things that I'm loving is working with the advancement staff and the alumni relations staff at Agnes Scott College. I think they're doing a great job, and I love being their colleagues, and they're the ones who put this together tonight in honor of you. So speaking of that, we are very honored that you are here tonight. You honor the college by your presence. You honor the college with your leadership gifts, and you honor the college by being the kind of person that you are in your civic duties, in your religious organizations. No matter what you're involved in, we know that you are out there thinking deeply, living honorably, and engaging in the most difficult issues of our time. That's what Scotties do. And I admire you all so much, and we're honoring you for that tonight. So we're hoping you're having a good time, and one of the things that I want to report to you on is how are we doing on the fund for Agnes Scott? You know, it's just a few days before June 30th, and when I came on November 10th, we were halfway to a $2.9 million goal, and because of you, because of your gifts and because of your loyalty to Agnes Scott College, we are $100,000 away from making our $2.9 million goal. Give yourself a round of applause. The first meeting I had with President Zach, she said, Jake, you should have one thing on your mind and one thing only, and that is get the money for Main Hall. And so, so I go to sleep every night thinking about that. And so when I arrived on November 1, we were at $19.5 million toward a $31.8 million goal. Today, we are just south of $25 million. And so we're very, very close. And I'll tell you, all of you Scotties, you need to give yourself a round of applause because of that $25 million, Agnes Scott graduates have either given or their foundations have given $19 million. That is huge for any kind of school. Congratulations. That is huge. Well, I have the honor tonight of introducing one of the most exciting college presidents in America today. I feel like I can say that because I've done that 3 times, and I know a lot of college presidents in this country. I don't know very many like Lee Zach, and I think we are very, very fortunate to have her here. Now, I think there are some of you who have never heard a formal introduction of her, and I'm not going to give you a dissertation. But I want to give you some highlights because some of you need to know this. She is a Phi Beta Kappa graduate of Mount Holyoke College, which recognized her as a woman of influence in 2012. She holds a JD degree from Northeastern University School of Law. During President Zach's tenure, Agnes Scott has achieved record enrollment in fundraising, launched graduate programs, and been recognized by U.S. News and World Report for innovation, teaching, first-year experience, and social mobility. I can tell you right now, any liberal arts college in America, the cabinet would be dancing on the table if they could say what I just said. That is fabulous. We need to celebrate more at Agnes Scott. I mean, this is a fabulous, fabulous college. During her time here, she has begun to build on the Summit experience, but I should tell y'all that the new program for sophomores called Scale was basically her idea. I mean, she came up with that idea, and it is a fabulous experience where all sophomores go to some business in the Atlanta area, and they're there for a week, and it's kind of like a mini internship, and they get to decide, is this something I'm interested in? But what's even better is those businesses, of which there are now about 20 or more, they get to know how good our Agnes Scott graduates are, and it's really important for us. Well, under her leadership, we have developed a new strategic plan called Pathway to Success. And, you know, I've said in the past that I would follow some college presidents in the dark, but I would rather follow a college president in the dark if she had a pathway to success and had a strategic plan. And so we're very fortunate that she does. She is the chair of several boards in Atlanta and several organizations around the country. Most importantly, for Agnes Scott in the college community, she is on the board of the American Council on Education. There are only 3 or 4 college presidents on that board. Most are major universities, private and public. She has an extensive background in international economic development and international project finance, and in 2010, she was appointed by President Obama and confirmed by the U.S. Senate to serve as director of the U.S. Trade and Development Agency. She knows a whole lot about developing countries and middle-income countries. And one of the things we're going to have to solve in the world as global leaders is what are we going to do about some of the issues we face around the world. Before joining the public sector, Lee was a partner at the international law firm Mintz Levin, where she practiced international and domestic project finance in the Boston and Washington, D.C. offices. And as if she had any free time, she was an adjunct professor at the Georgetown University Law Center and the Boston University School of Law. I'm at Agnes Scott because I believe that President Lee Zack embodies the 3 characteristics that we want all of our students to leave here with. She is bright, she is moral, and she is courageous. Please join me in welcoming her.
Thank you very much, Jake, for that unbelievable introduction. I think I should just sit down now after that. I do want to point out that we do have Main Hall nicely framed behind the podium here so that you have to stare at it all evening. But I want to begin by thanking you all for coming here tonight and thanking you all for what you do for Agnes Scott College. Many of the things that Jake described, we could not accomplish without your generosity, without your support. We have amazing students at Agnes Scott. They are my inspiration every day, and they so much reflect you in who you are, who you were at Agnes Scott, and who you have become. Scotties today have the spirit of Scotties of every day, and I get to see that. I have some announcements and some official remarks to make, but I just wanted to tell you how valuable you are to those students, what a difference you make to them. Students who might not have been able to have this experience if it were not for you. And when I mentioned that they're very much like you and they have that same spirit, as I was walking around this evening and talking to people, They were asking about our students. And there were a couple things that really touched me this year. One, Jake mentioned how smart they are, how courageous they are. They have been through so much during this period. At the same time, they remain kind and resilient. They also have a strong love for Agnes Scott. And it was very interesting. You're going to hear from our students, some of our students tonight, or former students, they're now alums tonight. But I was really taken by our seniors this year. One of the big concerns that our seniors had when they came back was not about themselves, was not about whether or not, commencement was going to happen this year, not about, I wanted them to worry a little more about what they were doing next year, but what they were concerned about was that the students on campus, many of whom had been remote before that, knew our traditions. They really wanted to be sure that they understood what a real black cat was like. They wanted to be sure that they understood what it's like to have a ring ceremony, and I'll mention that in a minute. Junior production that wasn't online, but in person. All of those wonderful things that you all enjoyed and passed down, they're things that meant so much to them and continue to. And all they kept saying to us is, President Zach and the cabinet, we have to make sure they know our traditions. And, two of the happiest moments during this year. One, of course, was commencement, bittersweet, but it was filled with joy, with our students, being happy to be able to have a commencement. The other was a sophomore ring ceremony. We were able to have it this year. We had not been able to have it in person last year. And parents came, students came, friends came. And what they told us was, this was the ceremony they missed when they came out of high school. They ended up having to go to remote on high school. They didn't have a graduation. They didn't have a ceremony. They didn't cross the stage as they did when they received their ring. But the other side of it was to see the joy of all of those students afterwards, holding up their hands, showing their rings, and talking about how excited they were when someone would recognize them as a Scotty because they had their ring. So it is just, with great pride that I have the opportunity to be with these amazing students every day, and the faculty and staff that teach them and care for them, and as they did with you. But this year, these past couple of years have been very special. One, having to convert to remote. Two, again, trying to bring people back in person. But at the same time, our amazing Scotties persevered and they succeeded. And Jake pointed out a couple of our leading experiences that prepare our students for professional success. And you're going to hear from Christine tonight and others. And that has been what our faculty and staff, but our faculty in particular, have been focusing on and expanding the experience of our students to ensure professional success. That every student, when they leave Agnes Scott, they know that they have a future. They know that they have a career. And we strongly believe that this is something that we have a moral obligation to our students to ensure that they have that pathway to success when they leave. And I'm so grateful to our faculty and staff and you who make that possible. So what did our students, after going through all this, our class from 2022, what did they go on to do? I mean, they went through all this trauma. They were online, they came back. What did they do? Well, they're Scotties. So they went on to do amazing things, only some of which we know about now. But our graduating Scotties went on to places like, you might have heard of it, Georgia Tech, Georgia Tech's Scheller School of Business, Brown University. the University of Pennsylvania, University of Maryland, Boston University, Johns Hopkins, Bloomberg School of Public Health, George Washington University, Northwestern School of Journalism, Media, and Integrated Marketing Communications, the University of Edinburgh, and the Paris Institute of Political Studies, to name a few. They went on to work life. They went to Deloitte, they went to DeKalb County Board of Health, IBM, Spelman, Marcus Autism Center, and many more places. Two of our students, and I'm thrilled to announce, two of our students received the Rosemary and John Brown Family Scholarship, which is at Emory Goizueta School of Business. And it is designated for Agnes Scott and Spelman students. So we were really thrilled. There's a belief by the Brown family in women's education. So two of our students were recipients of that scholarship this year. So they have gone on to do amazing things after going through this experience. And I also know that they're going to continue because they are Scotties, they are leaders, and they'll continue to be leaders in the community. So I'm absolutely thrilled by that. I also want to take a minute and to recognize some people here who've made this possible. So first, I'd like to ask our reunion fund chairs who are here with us this evening to stand as able. Could you stand? Thank you. These dedicated Scotties have helped their classes make gifts and commitments to the Fund for Agnes Scott of more than $699,000. Anyone want to give one more thousand? Make this 700,000? But to celebrate your reunion. I mean, that is outstanding. If we could have a round of applause. Next, I want to recognize the 50th reunion class, 1972, and also the classes of 1971 and 70. Although theirs were virtual reunions, now that we have them back, we'd like to recognize them and celebrate their 50th reunions together. So if we could recognize them. And these three reunion classes have been led by fund chairs Betty Shannon Duncan, 1972, Bernie Todd Smith, 1971, and co-chairs Cheryl Sullivan and Bryn Cooey Daniel, 1970. Together they raised $477,000. So thank you so much. We so appreciate it. Also, a special congratulations to our bell ringers. If you are not familiar with bell ringers are our youngest leaders who give at the leadership level. So we are absolutely delighted to have bell ringers with us tonight, beginning their philanthropy early. We are so grateful. If you could please stand if you're a bell ringer, we'd like to acknowledge you. Several members of the Francis Winship Walters Society, our recognition society for those who've made the promise to support Agnes Scott through their estate plans, are with us tonight. We are so grateful to your contributions to the college. Through your contributions, you've contributed or plan to contribute $5.5 million to the college, an endowment, current operations, and capital projects. So to all of our Francis Winship Walters Society members, we thank you. If you could please stand to be acknowledged. Thank you very much. Well, Jake mentioned a couple of the highlights about Agnes Scott. He will also tell you, in addition to never volunteering to help, because I will call you, the other thing that is a sure thing is that I will always mention that Agnes Scott is number one. Agnes Scott, as Jake mentioned, and we have to find a way to ensure that everybody knows Agnes Scott has done the unprecedented once again. We are #1 by U.S. News and World Report, #1 for innovation 4 years in a row for colleges throughout the country. There is no other college that has that distinction of being #1. As Jake also mentioned, we are proud to be #2 for teaching for liberal arts colleges. But we are #1, and Jake mentioned the Journeys experience, the Scale experience. We're combining our curriculum with experience at Agnes Scott. We are #1 in the country for colleges and universities for first-year experience. Colleges and universities. Again, to have a liberal arts college have that distinction, a women's college have that distinction. I am so proud of everything that our faculty and staff has done and the amazing success of Summit, our signature experience at Agnes Scott. And one of the people who has been instrumental throughout the years in guiding this college, coming up with amazing ideas, being creative, has been Christine Cousins, who you're going to hear from tonight. She is our first speaker this evening. Many of you know her as the outstanding professor that you've experienced. She also is the Vice President for Academic Affairs, and we will be celebrating her again this weekend at the faculty receptions. But I am absolutely thrilled to introduce Christine this evening to provide a few words. As you all know, Christine has been a beloved professor to thousands of students, a dynamic and thoughtful leader of many student and alumni trips to Ireland, and has been a longtime director of the Agnes Scott groundbreaking, and again, it is groundbreaking, Center for Writing and Speaking. She has been an amazing professor. She's been an amazing guide for so many students. I've also been one of the most fortunate presidents in the country to have Christine as the Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the College. Many of you know that when Christine first came into that role, she came as an interim. Some of you have heard the story, and some of you may not have, which is Christine, and she's looking at me, Christine would walk into my office once a week with her phone that was on a countdown clock, because I asked her to do it for 6 months. So she was counting down her 6 months in that role. 3 years later, I am really happy that Christine has been such a wonderful partner to me, such a wonderful teacher for me, such a wonderful guide for the college as a whole. So I now have the pleasure of introducing Christine Cousins, our next speaker.
Thank you, Lee. Agnes Scott alumni have been extraordinarily generous to the college from the very beginning. No matter where you go on this campus, you'll see many plaques and nameplates acknowledging the contributions of alumni and friends. Classrooms, tutoring centers, library carrels, residence hall rooms, offices, and the like. In every building on campus, we are surrounded by the generosity, loyalty, and love of Agnes Scott students for their alma mater. If I read you the names and talked about the impact of these gifts, we would be here all night. But I urge you to note these commemorations as you spend time on campus this weekend. And I think we will see many of your names as we took that tour. These brick and mortar manifestations are only part of the story, however. If you pay attention, you will become aware of an invisible web of generous giving that surrounds, buoys, and uplifts every one of our students during their 4 years with us. Take, for example, my own particular favorite campus institution, the Center for Writing and Speaking. 5 or 6 alumni-given endowed funds that started small have grown over the years to offset a significant percentage of the budget that supports students working on writing or speaking projects for any course in any discipline at any level. When the CWS is fully supported by endowed funds, college money can go to other worthy needs. Like many other faculty, I've had the honor of traveling with students. Dozens of students were able to accompany me to Ireland on literary study trips over the years because of alumni-given travel funds. Some of them were only large enough to support one student, but for that student, the gift was the most awesome gift ever. Our public health majors and STEM majors can afford to take on prestigious summer internships that are crucial to their nascent professional lives because alumni gave money for that purpose. The college's annual Writers' Festival, which in the spirit of Robert Frost's annual visits to campus, brings famous and about to be famous writers to the college to meet and work with our students, celebrated its 51st year this year, thanks to alumni giving. At the annual academic awards ceremony, students are thrilled to be recognized for excellence in Latin, creative writing, political science, chemistry, French, Africana studies, and in almost every major we offer, because alumni who majored in those disciplines left them a legacy. Dozens of faculty have been able to pursue their research dreams thanks to excellence funds, large and small, given by alumni. These dreams have turned into books and articles, experiments and discoveries, poems and paintings, recordings and performances, and always into syllabi, course modules, courses, and even majors that engage and challenge students and earn us national recognition for teaching, innovation, first-year experience, study abroad, and much more. There are no plaques or nameplates for these gifts, but their presence, their importance is palpable. I called them an invisible web, but they are really the invisible curriculum of student learning, experiences, and discoveries, the best, the essence of an Agnes Scott education. You and others have made these things possible. Faculty and students alike are grateful for these transformative gifts, and we do our best to earn the honor of receiving them. But we are always growing and learning, and we are ambitious. We want to do more and better. We don't want you to stop giving. Thank you for your generosity and for your support of the visible and the invisible Agnes Scott. And now, I'm delighted to introduce our 2 student speakers. I'm going to introduce both of you, and then you can just... The first is Hannah Savage, class of 24. Hannah's from Fayetteville, Georgia. She's a rising junior and is majoring in business management and minoring in Spanish. She's been selected to work with the Agnes Scott admissions team to give summer tours and introduce all Agnes Scott has to offer to prospective students. Amal Green, class of 22. Amal is from Apex, North Carolina, completed 6 internships in 4 years, wow, and served as president of the Publius Pre-Law Society while earning her degree in political science and sociology. Amal has been accepted to Georgia Tech's Scheller College of Business to pursue a Master of Business Administration with the class of 2024, and in the meantime, she'll work as a government and public sector business analyst at Deloitte Consulting. So please welcome our student speakers.
Can I tell you all a secret? I didn't want to apply to Agnes Scott when I was initially considering colleges. All I knew was it was a historically women's college and like an hour away from where I live, and I was worried my mom would come and visit me every weekend. I remember the first time I toured Agnes Scott. It was Tuesday, February 19th, 2019, and all I can say is when I first stepped on campus, I was literally counting down the days until I can come here as an admitted student. But that was a little longer than I expected due to the virus that shall not be named. I was virtual my first year, so it was a little frustrating to not be able to experience the things I'd been looking forward to. But that just meant I was even more excited to come here this year. I could finally meet all the people I'd only seen through a computer screen and get to actually feel like a real college student. But as you heard, I'm majoring in business management and minoring in Spanish. You may be wondering what I plan to do with my major. Well, so am I. But the great thing is, Agnes Scott has so many resources available to us to be able to explore possible career options. One of the most prominent opportunities that I just experienced is SCALE, the Sophomore Class Atlanta Leadership Experience. It's where our sophomores can intern at local businesses for a few days and get to learn the inner workings of that business. I got to intern at Plywood People, a nonprofit organization that helps startup companies find their footing through different programs and workshops. My group got to sit in on meetings, conduct interviews with different team members, and interact with a couple of the businesses that worked in that space. Another resource Agnes Scott has to offer is the amazing professors. Because our class sizes are so small, I know I'm not just another face in a 300-student lecture hall, and I don't have to fight in order to be noticed. Our professors make an effort to know all of our names and are always available outside of class to speak with us. One professor from my first year still reaches out to me with opportunities she thinks I should apply for, and is always there when I need a reference letter. If you ask any of my friends and family, they'll tell you how much I love Agnes Scott. I rock all my Scotty merch with pride, and I'm already crying at the thought of graduating in just 2 years. Choosing to go here is one of the best decisions I've ever made, because everyone here is supporting me and wants to see me succeed. This summer, I'll be helping with the admissions team by giving summer tours for prospective students to show everything Agnes Scott has to offer. I just hope to make their tours as magical as my first tour was and show them that going here can also change their lives. Agnes Scott fosters such a great community and environment for learning, and it's all due to your support. Thank you all so much for all of your contributions to Agnes Scott that help make it the special school it is. I appreciate everything you've done for this school and investing in me and my fellow Scotties' future, and I can't wait to see how we continue to change the world. And by the way, my mom doesn't visit me every weekend, it's just every other weekend. Thank you.
Wow, how do you go after that, right? Alrighty. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. I love that y'all are talking back to me. Thank you, Dean Cousins, for everything you have done for not only me as my SGA liaison, but also for the fellow students of Agnes Scott. So we are all here today because we have one thing in common, and that's a love for our beloved institution, Agnes Scott College. For those of you who may not know, I am a recent graduate who received degrees in political science and sociology. These last few months leading up to the commencement ceremony and on the day itself, I was in constant reflection about the past, the present, and the future. So I constantly pondered 3 things. How did I get here? How do I exist in this moment authentically? And how do I move forward efficiently? So take a quick trip with me, rewind with me about 8 years ago to Cary, North Carolina. I had just relocated from the north side of Long Island, New York, where I was born and raised, because my father had completed an over 20-year service at the New York City Police Department and wanted a different life for our family. So you can imagine how culture shocked I must have been coming from New York. Still can't find a good bagel anywhere. When I entered high school, knowing absolutely no one. So I'm sure some of you all are sitting in the audience right now, and you can remember a time where you might have felt different, or like an other, or like you didn't fit in. So when it came down to choosing where I wanted to go to college, finding a community that fit was everything. But At first, nothing felt quite right. I applied to about 10 schools and toured each one. However, nothing felt like a match. And of course, it seemed like everyone else in my high school seemed to know what their next steps were, and I was again lost. So you can imagine my surprise when I got a call from my high school counselor telling me that Agnes Scott, a women's college even farther south than I already was having an opening for a tour the following week, and that I should be in attendance. Well, we're here now, and thank God I took a chance, because Agnes Scott College was and is the best choice I've ever made in my life. And our strong community, the foundation of excellence, and our investment in the world for women is the reason why students like myself can graduate and say just that. I have personally seen the power of your foresight and innovation during my time at Agnes Scott through the renovation of our beloved Rebecca Scott Hall, where I lived for 3 semesters. Rebecca Scott Hall was where I not only rested my head at the end of a long day, but where I dreamt my biggest dreams. In 2021, right after the pandemic, I posted on my Rebecca Scott 320 door a vision board where I tacked 3 pictures: a graduation cap, Peachtree Street, and a Buckhead skyrise apartment. So of course the graduation cap represented the completion of my first generation college student journey. Peachtree Street for me represented the hub for some of the best companies in corporate America where I hoped to one day work. And then lastly, the Buckhead skyrise represented being able to live on my own in what I would consider my dream city. And I'm happy to stand up here and say that all of those have become tangible realities. I was able to look into the audience on May 14th at 9:30 a.m. and see my family gleam as I received my diploma, something that no one else had done. I get to wake up every day in my apartment, even though it's a shoebox, and be thankful for a roof over my head. And I can now say that I am an analyst for Deloitte Consulting, the top management consulting firm in the world. Where? On Peachtree Street. I would not have been able to achieve these milestones without the help of generous donors who have supported my education through scholarships. You all saw the greatness inside of me before I saw it in myself, and for that I am truly grateful. So if you take one thing from my time up here today, remember this. Sociologist Thomas S. Guerin said, "Place is space filled up by people, practices, objects, and representations." So as I leave here today, I encourage you to think of yourselves not as makers of space, the tangible, the materialistic, but as makers of place. You create, invest, and foresee places where Agnes Scott students can not only become the people they want to be, but the people they dream to be and the people the world needs. So I challenge you to leave this place today thinking about how you can continue adding meaning to spaces not only in our Agnes Scott community, but in the world around us. So thank you for everything you do for the future of this place and the students that she holds. Thank you.
Okay, so now we have to follow that. But you now know why I say that I am inspired every day. If there's ever a day that you're going through that budget or what it is that you might need to do, it's stepping out on the quad, seeing these amazing students, knowing what it is that they are able to accomplish because of you, because of your generosity. And also knowing that our future is in good hands because of amazing people like this. So Juan, Hannah, and Emil, thank you so much for your contributions to Agnes Scott. You also have given back so much to the college. We are so grateful to you, and we wish you so much joy and so much success, and we are thankful that you are part of our community. So thank you very much. And Christine, we have a small token of appreciation that we want to thank you so much for all of your service. Again, we will be honoring Christine at the faculty reception tomorrow, Friday, at between 5 and 6:30 at Rebecca Hall. So you have another opportunity to catch up with Christine. But Christine, I just wanted to give you a small token of appreciation. And to everyone, I want you to continue to enjoy this evening. We mentioned that it's an opportunity to get up. There's more food, desserts, main course, drinks. Enjoy your time here. Enjoy your time with one another. Also feel free to have a walk on our beautiful campus. And again, I want to thank you so much for everything that you do for Agnes Scott and how you demonstrate your love for this unbelievable campus that I've come to love as well. So thank you. Thanks for being here, and enjoy the rest of the evening.